This rock is nearly 4 billion years old. Let that sink in. It was here before the continents took shape, before life had a heartbeat, before Earth was anything but chaos and fire. And it's still here, silent, weathered, eternal. Welcome to the Torngat Mountains, a jagged spine of stone at the edge of northern Canada where the planet shows its age. Out here, nothing feels human. There are no roads, no rescue, just raw wilderness, towering cliffs, and ancient forces you can't quite explain. If you love exploring the world's most remote and extreme places, hit subscribe to join us on Beyond Atlas Explore. Because this isn't just a mountain range, it's a time machine carved in rock, a hunting ground for polar bears, a sacred place where Arctic spirits still roam. And it's about to show you what Earth really looks like when no one's looking. The Torngat Mountains rise like ancient teeth at the northern edge of Labrador and Quebec, Canada. They form part of one of the wildest and least traveled landscapes in North America, over 30,000 square kilometers of untouched Arctic wilderness. This is Torngat Mountains National Park, one of Canada's youngest national parks, created in 2005 to protect not just the land, but the stories and spirits that have lived here for thousands of years. The name Torngat comes from the Inuktitut word Torngat, meaning place of spirits. And once you see these peaks thrusting straight out of the Labrador Sea, you'll understand why the Inuit gave it such a name. There are no highways here, no visitor centers with coffee and souvenirs. To step into the Torngats is to step into a land that has barely changed in billions of years. To understand the Torngats, you have to think in deep time. Pre-human, pre-dinosaur, pre-life as we know it. These mountains are carved from some of the oldest rock on Earth, formed nearly 4 billion years ago when the planet was still molten and hostile. This was a world of violent volcanoes and relentless asteroid impacts. Land masses were just beginning to emerge. There were no forests, no oceans as we know them, just raw, chaotic Earth. The rocks of the Torngats are survivors of that ancient chaos. But what makes them truly remarkable isn't just their age, it's their preservation. Most ancient mountain ranges have been crushed, eroded, buried under newer land. But the Torngats? They're still standing, scarred but intact. A geological time capsule. That's what makes this place so valuable to scientists. It offers a rare glimpse into the Earth's earliest history. Studying the Torngats is like flipping open the first pages of the planet's storybook and realizing we've barely read any of it. The Torngats aren't towering by global standards. Mount Korbvik, the tallest peak, reaches just 1,652 meters, but don't let the numbers fool you. These mountains rise straight from sea level, creating sheer stone walls that plunge dramatically into the Arctic Ocean. The effect? Absolutely massive. Their ruggedness wasn't shaped by time alone, it was sculpted by ice. During the last ice age, glaciers more than a kilometer thick bulldozed through these valleys, carving deep fjords and leaving behind a jagged, fractured world. Even now, long after the ice has retreated, the scars remain. Hanging valleys, glacial cirques, and massive fields of shattered rock known as Felsenmeer, German for Sea of Stones. Walking through them feels like wandering across the ruins of another planet. And in the highest pockets of the range, fragments of that ancient ice still cling to the peaks. These are the last glaciers in eastern North America. Scientists say they may vanish in our lifetime, a disappearing link to the frozen past and a warning about the warming future. In the Torngats, the weather isn't just a backdrop, it's a threat. This is where Arctic air slams into Atlantic moisture, creating sudden, violent storms that can appear out of nowhere. One moment, the sky is calm. The next, you're trapped in a whiteout, wind howling at 200 kilometers an hour, temperatures plunging to -40 degrees. There's a saying out here, if you don't like the weather in the Torngats, wait 5 minutes. It'll get worse. This range generates its own microclimate, unpredictable, unforgiving. These aren't just bad weather days, they're the kind that test survival skills. A sunny morning can turn into a life-threatening blizzard by afternoon. And with no roads, no cell service, and no rescue helicopters on standby, that change in weather isn't just inconvenient, it's potentially fatal. In the Torngats, you don't fight the weather, you respect it, or it will beat you. Despite the cold, the cliffs, and the constant threat of storm, the Torngats are alive. In fact, this is one of the few places on Earth where polar bears live in the mountains. Not on drifting sea ice, not on the frozen tundra, in the mountains. These bears have adapted to life on solid ground, denning in rock caves and hunting seals from wave-battered shorelines. With around 2,000 individuals, the Torngats host one of the healthiest polar bear populations on the planet. But sharing terrain with an apex predator, that's not something you take lightly. There are also massive caribou herds, Arctic foxes, and over 140 bird species that nest on the cliffs during the short Arctic summer. For a few weeks, the barren stone erupts with life. Then just as quickly, it disappears into snow again. If you're enjoying this journey, help me hit my first 500 subscribers by tapping that subscribe button. It's free and it helps me keep exploring places like this with you. Because this isn't a place you visit lightly. Out here, humans are the outsiders. No roads, no rescue, one wrong step, and nature reminds you who's really in charge. Long before maps gave this place a name, the Inuit knew these mountains. For thousands of years, they hunted here, traveled through the valleys, and passed stories down through generations. To them, the Torngats weren't just mountains, they were alive. Archaeological sites hidden among the cliffs reveal a rich history of survival and adaptation. These weren't temporary camps, they were home. Evidence of tools, shelters, even burial grounds tell the story of people who not only endured this harsh environment, they thrived in it. And they didn't do it alone. According to Inuit tradition, the Torngats are inhabited by powerful spirits. The most revered among them is Torngat, the great spirit said to control the weather and guide the hunt. Even today, Inuit guides speak of a presence in these mountains, something ancient, unseen, but deeply felt. In this landscape, science and spirituality don't clash, they coexist. In 2005, the Torngat Mountains officially became Canada's 42nd national park. But don't expect gift shops or hiking trails. This isn't a park in the traditional sense. It's more like a living laboratory, a sacred landscape, and a last refuge for untouched wilderness. Scientists from around the world come here to study everything from glacial retreat to wildlife patterns to traditional Inuit knowledge. There are no roads in or out. Research teams are flown in by plane, dropped into base camps, and often guided by local Inuit who know the land better than any GPS ever could. Tourism here is possible, but tightly controlled. Every visit is part expedition, part cultural exchange. The challenge is to study the land without disturbing it, to learn from it without erasing what makes it so rare. Because what's at stake here isn't just a beautiful landscape, it's the story of Earth itself. Standing in the Torngats, you feel it. That quiet sense that you're not alone. Not in the usual way. The Inuit believe the spirits of these mountains watch over everyone who enters. And whether you believe in spirits or not, there's something undeniable here. A stillness, a presence, a force beyond human scale. The Torngats are more than just scenery. They are memory, carved into stone, frozen in ice, and passed on through story. They remind us how young we are, how fragile the world is, and how little of it remains truly wild. So much of Earth has been paved, flattened, tamed, but not here, not yet. If this story moved you, help protect places like this by subscribing to Beyond Atlas Explore. I'm aiming for 500 subscribers, and your support means everything. These ancient mountains will change how you see the world and your place in it.